Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session created for a client that had a high levels of anxiety, and they would describe it as a phobia of flying. And it didn't stop them flying, but it did stop them enjoying flying because they were always on edge. They were thinking about it. They were reading into facial expressions and the tonality of the captain on the voiceover. And it was really spoiling their ability to enjoy flying. What you're going to hear on this particular hypnosis session is a disassociated form of future pacing. And it's disassociated for a deliberate reason. And that is, when I was working with this client, encouraging them to take an associated first-person perspective in a resource state was a little bit too far, because their inner dialogue said, but it wouldn't happen that way, or it didn't happen that way if it was a memory. So I knew that that was a bit too far for now. Making it disassociated just means you're looking at yourself like you're someone else, like a third-person perspective. And I needed to do this through a screen, because if I just said, imagine watching yourself, they would quite often jump into a first-person perspective. So the screen actually creates what's called staged disassociation. It's 2 levels of disassociation to ensure that they can feel calm, because they're just perceiving themselves, watching themselves, being fine. And there is lots of very resourceful emotions linked to all the different stages of taking a flight. So discussing where they're going, booking the tickets, packing the luggage, arriving at the airport, going through security, boarding the plane, all of these things are linked to positive emotions. So there's an element of priming, lots of direct suggestions and post-hypnotic suggestions, future pacing, and a disassociated perspective. And what was interesting is that although the client had resisted associating into a resourceful state up to this point, at the end of the session, they said, actually, they found themselves, because it was so desirable for them to see this version of themselves enjoying the flight and looking relaxed, they couldn't help but take a first-person perspective. And that's normally a clue of doing the right thing, because if they take a first-person perspective and associate into these resources, then it means that they are laying the neural pathways, they are priming the mind to experience these emotions in reality. It's kept quite open because I wanted this recording to be useful for them for whatever flight they may take in the future. And sometimes when I'm working with fear of flying clients, I'll be specific. It might be to a city or a particular airline. This is open so that they can fill in the gaps. So if their flight is a Virgin Airlines to a particular location, let's say Miami, then they can fill in the gaps of that and they'll know the airport they're flying from. But 3 months from now, it might be a different flight. So it's open and ambiguous enough for them to fill in the gaps, which also means from a podcast perspective, it will be more relevant for you if you have got a fear of flying for your next flight, because it doesn't specify any of the specific details. The one thing that might not match perfectly is this particular client tended to fly business class and therefore had the fast track security, the lounges, seat selection, all of those kind of things. That might not map across exactly for you. But then you could just ignore what's irrelevant and focus on what is relevant and change the inner representation of what you see and what you imagine to make it useful for you. That said, I work with clients all the time to create these bespoke sessions. We do them live, and then they also get a recording like this afterwards. So if that appeals to you, if you've got an upcoming flight that you're anxious about, you're worried about, you feel like it could spoil things, There will be a link in the comments where you can schedule that free consultation call to explore working with me. For now, though, find a quiet, confident place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that slow, calm feeling of resourceful relaxation. And as you exhale, give permission to let go. To let go of any tension, any stress, any anxiety. And you don't have to let go all at once, but just give permission to let go slowly. As you breathe in that feeling of resourcefulness, whatever resources you need most. Calmness, confidence, a feeling of relaxation. And then scan your body for any clues of tension or stress or worry. And allow that to be released. And feel it leave your body in that outward breath. And the longer that outward breath, the more of that stress, tension or worry you're releasing. And the more of that resourceful feeling of relaxation you're then breathing in. I want you to consider your breath an emotional transfusion. Each breath breathing in resourceful relaxation, and each exhale releasing what is no longer useful. And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a comfy sofa and a big screen. Maybe a TV screen, or maybe your own personal cinema screen. And allow yourself within your imagination to position your body there on that sofa in a way where you feel so relaxed. Eyelids feeling heavier, jaw feeling loose. Tension around your neck and shoulders just seems to melt away. And I want you to imagine you have a remote control and you are about to watch a movie we can call Your Next Flight. So imagine pressing a button and imagine seeing someone that looks exactly like you in a conversation about a future flight, and see the expression on your face, excited and happy and smiling in that conversation about a future flight. And maybe a specific destination is talked about in that conversation. And then either see or hear about the tickets being booked. And notice the unmistakable expression of excitement on your face. an expression you can't fake. See it through your eyes, your smile, posture, all the expressions. That when the ticket is booked, you seem excited. And then jump through time, perhaps a day or so before the day of the flight. And on this screen, see yourself packing bags with particular luggage. They have a look, a texture, a material. See yourself opening the luggage and see how organized you look. The way things are folded, the thought behind what's taken and what's left behind. I want you to observe that version of you, with everything that is put into the luggage or suitcase, is like planting a seed for future wonderful memories. See yourself locating your passport, putting it maybe in a particular bag or location, and then see yourself and whoever you're traveling with waiting for a ride to the airport, and see how much of that is familiar. Maybe even the same car, the same driver. The luggage is put in the car, and see yourself being driven to the airport with the expression of perhaps excitement and relaxation and assurance. Observe it. See yourself leaving the car into the airport, and observe that version of you going through security with the expression that you appreciate that this security exists, that the security makes you feel more secure. Sometimes it can be a hassle, waiting in queues, but I want you to get a sense that that version of you feels reassured by the thoroughness of this security process. That even if it delays things, you'd rather it was there because it makes you feel safe. And after going through security, see yourself perhaps wheeling that luggage down into the lounge. And the moment you open the doors of the lounge, observe that version of you feeling a sense of pure relaxation. Maybe see yourself getting a drink, reading a magazine, having something to eat, with the expression of enjoyment and happiness. No stress, no hustle and bustle. Just getting ready to go to where you're about to go. As you leave the lounge, see yourself just about to board the plane with the expression of excitement, and notice something. Just as you're about to board, see a hand touching the outside of the plane, almost like that version of you is making an agreement with the plane itself, that the plane will protect you and you will be calm and relaxed while you're in the custody of the plane, as you have the expression of assurance, of being protected. Observe yourself making your way to your seat, See discernment. You've already chosen this seat. And as you see yourself sitting down in your seat, you have the expression of freedom, because you are where you've chosen to be. This is where you're meant to be. As the seatbelt has that click, you have the expression of safety. See how relaxed you look as the plane is about to reach the runway and then take off, and at that point where the wheels leave the runway, see the expression of a bit of a thrill, that feeling, that sensation of flying. Gives you a sense of fun, thrill, and wonderment. And notice that when the captain talks, that version of you is paying attention to what's happening. But almost with the expression that it doesn't really matter. If they talk about the weather, they will do the best with whatever weather comes their way. If there's a delay, they're probably more frustrated than you are. I want you to get a sense that version of you is at ease. Information is just information, something to manage your expectations. Other than that, has no meaning whatsoever. And notice that as the plane is flying, you notice that where focus goes, your energy flows. That when you're in deep conversation, you're lost in a world of conversation. If you see yourself doing a word search or a puzzle, your mind is immersed in that puzzle. If you're reading a book, listening to music, or watching an interesting movie, then while you're doing that, that is your reality. That where focus goes, energy flows. So why not focus on the incredible taste of food, all of the choice of movies, all the things you can do. The plane's been flying maybe for a couple of hours, and maybe there is some turbulence, but as you observe yourself, see that version of you with the expression of pragmatism. It is what it is. Everyone is doing what they can to get through this temporary, manageable period of disruption. And you have the expression of someone that deep down believes everything will be fine. And before long, the turbulence is gone, and it is fine. See yourself enjoying and experiencing, mindfully experiencing this flight. And then maybe hear an announcement that it's time to put seatbelts on because landing will be in the next half an hour or so. And you have the expression of someone either excited to be arriving at their destination, things to do, or that cozy feeling of feeling like you're coming home. Plane lands, and even if there's a jolt, you have the facial expression of someone unfazed. And as you leave, see yourself not just thanking the crew, but also thanking the plane. And maybe that's just words you say in your inner dialogue, or maybe you touch the side of the plane as you leave. An implicit agreement that the plane protected you and you enjoyed the flight in return. And as you leave, you thank the plane for protecting you, and the plane thanks you for enjoying the flight. Just imagine as you leave and go through border control, pick up your luggage, step into your body as you have this realization that if you've enjoyed this flight, it's more than likely you will enjoy the next flight. And as you continue to enjoy flights, feeling assured and protected, feeling anxious becomes impossible. That the house of cards comes crumbling down. And maybe that house of cards is already starting to look fragile and wobbly. And all it takes is one good flight for that house of cards of anxiety to come crashing down, never to be built again. If you're unconscious, feels like that is true, that there is a future where you feel safe and confident and enjoy flights. Let me know by nodding your head. And then feel it's time to return. So just imagine pressing that remote control, seeing the screen turn off. But feel like you've planted a seed in your unconscious mind about how your next flight will be. It will be relaxing, enjoyable. You will feel safe and secure. And perhaps for the first time in a long time, you'll know what it feels like to really enjoy a flight. And with that in mind, it's time to return to the present, to the here and now, as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, connecting fully into the present moment, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. I'm starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.